How can H4 EAD be impacted by the Trump administration?
The Trump administration did try to eliminate this. There was some litigation, though, that was brought to prevent the program from being terminated.
So, do you expect it to become difficult?
Could it become more limited or more difficult to obtain? Yes. President Trump does have the ability to make a rule that would limit or even eliminate the H4 EAD. They were unable to eliminate the H4 EAD last time.
Any thoughts in terms of how difficult the process can begin? I know last time biometrics was introduced.
Expect processing times to
Hi everyone, I'm Priya from It's OKR and welcome back to our channel. And if you're new today, It's OKR is a content platform for South Asian immigrants and we aim to educate, entertain, and empower them. Hi Jacob, thank you so much for joining today. For everyone who's new, Jacob is an immigration lawyer working with US ImmiVisa. We have started a partnership with them and they're actually offering free consults for any It's OKR followers. I will leave the details in the description box, so check that out. How can H4 EAD be impacted by the Trump administration? So, for any of our followers, and we've covered this extensively on its OKR as well, there was just a lot of buzz around H4 EAD during the last Trump administration. The process was a little bit difficult with biometrics introduced, and of course, there was always this looming conversation going on if H4 EAD will be removed. So, today, with Trump administration coming back and the Republican government coming back, we just want to spend some time understanding how can H4 EAD be impacted by the Trump administration. So Jacob, over to you.
Thanks, Priya. Yeah, as far as, without having a crystal ball, I can give you some of my ideas on what I think could likely happen with H4 EAD. So honestly, the H4 EAD program is not that old. This was introduced in 2015 under the Obama administration. So prior to that, this type of program did not exist. So it was relatively new. And as you had mentioned, the Trump administration did try to eliminate this. There was some litigation, though, that was brought to prevent the program from being terminated. And it was not ever ended under the Trump administration, although they tried to do so. Is it possible that this program is potentially eliminated in the Trump administration? Yes. Has there been any announcement in this new administration to do so? No. I think we do know now that Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, is going to be the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And we haven't heard her specifically comment on this particular issue. We do know in the background that similar people who were influencing the Trump administration's immigration policies, such as Stephen Miller, are still going to be involved in this new administration. So would it surprise me to see problems with or the H4 EAD program actually eliminated or scaled back or limited? No, it would not. I hope I'm wrong, but I could see something like that happening.
Just can you add a little bit more color on the last part? So, do you expect it to become difficult? Do you expect it to go away, or do you expect it to kind of stay the norm, especially in the first couple of years?
Yeah, I would say in the first couple of years, it's hard to predict. I would say it's probably going to continue, at least in the beginning. Could it become more limited or more difficult to obtain? Yes. Could it be eliminated outright? Potentially, yes, as well, outside of litigation stopping it again.
So, talk to us a little bit about the elimination process. Is it as easy as the Trump administration signing an executive order and it goes away the very next day, or what does that process look like so that the people understand how and if they need to prepare for alternatives?
Yeah. So the actual Yeah, let me answer this in an easier way. So, no, it's not as easy as issuing an executive order and terminating the H4 EAD. Last time there were significant challenges in court when the Trump administration attempted to do this. So, the president, does have the ability to do rulemaking where he issues an order and has the ability to. The president has the ability to control immigration policy, right? In some aspects, enforcement. But there are certain visas and categories that are governed by statute. And for those visa types, such as the H4 itself, those may not be eliminated by executive order. Now, President Trump does have the ability to make a rule that would limit or even eliminate the H4 EAD. However, last time this issue was litigated in federal court, and the litigants won, where they showed that eliminating the program would harm the United States, right? So they were unable to implement that they were unable to eliminate the H4 EAD last time.
Got it. So it is a real possibility that there might be conversations about it going away, but it's not as easy as signing a document and it goes away next day. There is going
Exactly.
to be a whole litigation process, and then whoever wins, kind of the whole thing is going to repeat. So that's the correct understanding.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay. And then just before we close the segment out, any thoughts in terms of how difficult the process can begin? I know last time biometrics was introduced to kind of like delay getting the EAD process, and it had created significant backlogs. Do you have any thoughts or visibility into what that could look like this time? Any other insight that you have heard?
Yeah, I would say perhaps people who own H4 EADs recall the lengthy processing times for how long it took for them to be approved, even outside of biometrics. So I would say expect processing times to be worse, unfortunately, for the H4 EADs. Now, I'm somebody who thinks that the EB, the I-140 processing time under the Trump administration will be faster, but I do not think that will be the case for the H4 EADs.
Got it. So, last question again is, if I am someone who's on H4 EAD, do you have any thoughts, recommendations, alternatives that you would recommend for me?
Yeah, first I just want to say I'm sorry for the stress this whole situation is causing. If I were you, I would just try and have a backup plan. And I know most people in your situation, in those type of situations, already have backup plans to their backup plans. Such ones that I would consider would be looking for employer-based O1 visas, right? We've seen definite increase in adjudication of O1s, right? Even for those where the applicant owns part or all of a company, or look for H1B cap as well, just to try and be selected there as well as a backup plan.
Yes, and for anyone who's listening, your options are other than H4. We have a detailed video with a couple of the options that Jacob shared as well that we will link in the description box. So definitely check it out. Again, we're so sorry for the stress that it's causing, but hopefully, with all the alternatives, etc., that exists, you will eventually be okay. But I hope this video helps you understand that it's not that the H4 EAD can go away overnight. There is a longer process, but of course, it's best to be prepared, especially if so much of your life in the US depends upon immigration. So, hope this was helpful. Thank you so much, Jacob, for sharing your insights. And we are very excited to do another segment with you as well. Thank you.